There we are. People respond to their experience, not to reality themselves. There's another description of that coming later, which will come out. Having a choice is better than not having a choice, which is right. You know, it's pretty obvious, but the obvious sometimes needs to be said. People make the best choice they can at the time. So they have choices. They say, okay, yeah, okay. But some people can't make a choice, of course. It's a bit of a shame. But the presupposition NLP, we can have a choice and make the best one. And people do have the ability to work perfectly. That's the assumption, the presumption. And all actions have a purpose. Hopefully of good intent, of course, not bad intent. And also there's plenty more here. And every behavior should have a positive intention. Now, the unconscious mind balances the conscious. We'll come to that a bit later as well. But it keeps everything in balance. The unconscious mind or unconscious mind is not malicious. That's a presumption. Of course, some people it is, but it's rather sad. And this is the meaning of any communication is not simply what you intend, but is the response you get. That is really, really important. So if you always do what you've always done, you always get what you always got. So, you know, change it if you need to change the response. Now, also the presumption is we have all the tools at our fingertips, or we can create them. So we're versatile enough to be able to do anything, basically. Or, you see, mind and body, we presume mind and body are a system. Now, it's not only mind and body. To me, it includes the soul, whatever that may be, intuition, whatever that may be, and all the states of consciousness. Because there are so many things we don't fully understand, but are there actually working in the background with us and hopefully for us, not against us. And they're all different expressions of the one person. They're all within all of us. And of course, we process all the information through our senses, which goes without saying, really. And if we do things, if we model something that works well, that leads to our own excellence or to another person's excellence if we train them or teach them to do it that way. And if you want to understand anything, just do it. So, as everyone says, the learning is actually in the doing. So please just Nike it, as the old expression goes.
Hi there, Adrian here, and this is a video from a Zoom session that we do. We do these Zoom sessions every Sunday, and we take questions and answers from the audience. Some of our students, some of our members. We never know what questions are coming up, so I'm always excited to do these sessions, and I hope to see you at one of them. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below and check out the other playlists that we have. Thank you, enjoy.
Now, I met Master Practitioner of NLP, Lord William here. I'm not sure, maybe 6 months ago, but as soon as he came on, he said a few words and straight away I knew he was a professional in the field, and I've been very impressed with the work he has done. And he's actually got into the NLP world, which is my biggest passion, well before I did. So I can also learn from him. Even though we've both been learning NLP for so long, we both still have a bit of a beginner's mind where we're still learning. Even though we have so much knowledge, there's always so much more we don't know. So I'm looking forward to learning from tonight. William?
That's a pleasure and lovely to see you all. This is the first time I shared my screen apart from 10 minutes ago, so I'll try again, if I may, somehow. Neurolinguistic programming. Well, I'm saying we're all at various stages the way we are in our progress during the learning, if you wish, or the learnings of life. And for me, I owe a lot of my gratefulness and gratitude to my trainers, Bandler, Grinder, Dilts, Bossiclair, all the original people who started that. You know, I've been doing this for about 30 years, I suppose, really. But that doesn't mean to say I am good at it, because there's so much to learn all the time. Also, I would like to thank, what's happened here? That's it. Also, I'd like to really thank the Motivate community and other groups related to them, because it wasn't until I met and spoke with Adrian some few months ago that it rekindled my constant interest, because for many years I was stuck in the business frame of mind and forgot all the important bits of life. So I thank a few of you. I won't mention your names, but also I thank all of you for being here today. Okay, now a disclaimer to everyone, because many of the views that I express may or not be suitable for your own feeling. But what I would say is nothing is new, it's just newly discovered, and all of us have so much more to discover. All of my materials in the public domain, and when an original source is known, I you know, give credit to the person. Now, who am I? I was asked that before. Well, I'm whatever I wish to be at that moment, actually, a student of life. Practically, I was a long-time entrepreneur and business owner. I'm a master practitioner of NLP, trained by Grinder, Bandler, and a few of the other crazy people. I'm also a UK government certified trainer in the logistics industry. I was in that industry for 25 years. NLP part-trained trainer, whatever that may be. But since I'm 2006, which is quite a few years now, I suppose, been based in China with the businesses, having fun, making friends, and just having a good time, really. But please refer to my website if you want any more further information on that. I do occasional skills training and also many pro bono NLP trainings. But really a survivor so far. I'm very fortunate, been very fortunate in business here in the UK and in China. But I'm grateful that I'm here at the moment, and you never know what's to happen in the future. My nickname is Lord William. And that's because I'm a Lord of the Manor in the UK, which doesn't mean anything really, but it's just a fun title to have. And people take the mickey out of me, and they remember me because of it. Now, I've also just put a few things in life, because NLP has helped me accomplish a lot of things. And as you can see, I'll just point them out with here. These three are really what my main business over here in China. We do a lot of organizing of MOUs and contracts. We do a lot of presentations. You can see me there in the dark with our dear Queen, who's 70 years on the throne this week. And also we do lots of exhibitions. One of the things that's enabled me to do NLP is also meet and not be afraid of strange people. This is Sir Martin Sorrell, who is, how can I say, he started and owned the largest advertising company in the world. Crazy boy, retrograde, a bit like many of us, and interesting people. This is my company, which I owned 3/4 and was a managing director for many years. As you can see, it's got my name on. And here's training with Bandler. Strange man he was, but interesting. He flew around in my brain for a few months after training with him. And of course, Paul McKenna, who is a therapist, a celebrity. Now, also, it helped me to actually do things that many people would be afraid of doing. Here, well, skiing, lots of people ski, of course they do. I was president of 2 chambers of commerce, enjoyed sailing. Now, sailing is a real analogy for NLP, because you can't control the wind, but with the sails, you can put the direction where you're going to, you know, by that manipulation of what you do. Some people, of course, can say you can actually alter the wind to the rain, like the rain dance of the Indians, but that's another story. European Parliament, Freeman of the City of London, partying in Beijing as one does. I was fortunate enough to have the confidence to build 2 houses, well, just before I came to China, actually. And I was on the parliamentary candidates list and a county councillor in the similar. So it makes us do all the things that, perhaps other people wouldn't want to do. Now, when I was in China, I was very fortunate. You see me here now talking with Angelina. She's in the art world. Represented a lady called Nicole Buffett, who's the granddaughter of Warren Buffett. These are some of her paintings. And the 2 paintings behind me are hers as well. Pretending to win a prize. And of course, not being afraid to present myself on television, primarily with dialogue and with young Ray, he's the guy. And of course, with President Xi and Boris Johnson sharing a screen with them, not knowing them, but sharing a screen with them. But also, I would like to say at this stage, whatever I say is only partially true, okay? Because there's so many ways to get to the truth. To me, the essence of being is light, vibration, sound, and frequency. And what we're coming to, I believe, the intuition is the catalyst to that understanding. And the spiritual chi is within us all, as is the universal energy. And there appears many dimensions that we're aware of, or some people are aware of, but we cannot explain, like, for example, UFOs and ghostly phenomena, telepathy, power of intent, and prayer. But nowadays, I'm not a coach or a trainer, just someone who encourages alternative thinking. Because there are so many others in the motivated community whom I respect and appreciate, who are already aligned to excellent healing, coaching, training, and certification. So from that point of view, I think they're the people to contact. In the spirit of fun, because we'll have to be crazy, I ordered myself the OBE, which in England is the order of the British Empire. It's a bit archaic, really. So I ordered myself the Order of the Beijing Entrepreneurs. So we can do anything we want. So you can do anything you want. So we can all do anything we want as long as it's within the law and good intent. Now, Einstein is a bit of my hero, really. And as he says, and I agree with him, you don't need to know everything. You need to know something, of course. You don't need to know everything because you just need to know where to find it. That's the basic thing. Now, what should we focus on for direction in one's life? We would like to perhaps understand our life purpose, our self-belief, confidence, the ability to build rapport with people, and also to have value for ourselves, to respect even ourselves, our inner selves, and to be able to communicate effectively with flexibility. Okay, what is NLP? Well, there's so many descriptions of NLP. Some would say the art of excellence, which of course it really is. It is the essence of getting things right to become perfect. Others would say just another tool to help us on the journey of life. And a few would say, and I would agree with them, that it is a little bit manipulative. If we're clever at it, we can encourage other people to do the things that we want to do, which aren't necessarily the best for them. So it's how we think, it's how the language and how it affects us, and how we sequence our actions to get to those goals. One moment. Close this window a moment. Okay, so there's so many descriptions, as I say, and I like to see things visually because I can't remember things, and the pictures are worth 1,000 words. So this is another alternative view to NLP, 2 alternative views, but the same thing, really. Now, the good thing with all of us, we're all so different, and thank goodness we're all so different. And that's because we delete things, distort things, and look at things in a different way. And we change it because of, let's say, our own senses. And some prefer to, let's say, to consider things through one or more of the 5 filters. We all know these are the meta programs. That's our general behavior patterns. Our belief systems, whether we believe in this or that, or, oh no, I don't like that, or, I prefer a queen or something. And our values, decisions, and our memories. And our memories could be good, could be bad, and even our decisions could be not farcical, that's the wrong word really, but let's say, yeah, just not made on sensible lines, really. Now, because we're different, and we're all different, it's helpful to endeavor to understand and show respect to other people's perceptions and models of the world. Now, for example, here we have, people like Adrian and Dino and Darko, and over here we have people like, oh, hang on, I got that one wrong. No, this is Adrian and Jay, and Dino and Darko over here. And we're all different. And here are all of us in the middle. We've all got our different views of life. We all wear different, have different perspectives. We all have different values, different wishes, different goals, if you wish. But if we can try and just understand other people, it does just make a big, big difference. I think we all know that anyway, but it's just good to be reminded of it sometimes. Now, the 4 pillars of NLP. The 4 main pillars, of course, as you can see here, are sensory acuity, behavioral flexibility, rapport to get to the outcomes or goals that you wish. Another way of putting it is up here, the same thing really, the other way. Now down here, someone always has to be different. They have to put the fifth column in, which is the same as the 3rd column in actual fact. But also, even with NLP, the same principles are for resilience and self-care. But you can, look at these a bit later if you want a copy of the PDF. Now, outcomes and goal settings. Now, the easy ways to do that, we all know that. We've all heard of the SMART sort of formula. Be specific, to be measurable, action-orientated, realistic and relevant, and time-based. Now, to me, I prefer the one on the right because it's just so much easier to remember. All the rest of words to me. But some people enjoy the words as that's the way it is. It's good. But, it's just something to refer to. We all know it. But at the same time, it's good to have something to think back to, get back to basics. Now, there are 6 basic principles of NLP, and I'm sure you all know them, but it doesn't matter going through them again. And the first one, it's your emotional states and levels of skill. The rapport that you build and the quality of those relationships. The outcomes, which is really knowing what you want or what you think you want at the time, but may change, at a different moment. Feedback, how do you know you're getting what you want? And flexibility. If what you're doing isn't working, then you have to do something else. I'm saying changeability, flexibility really is it's a secret of NLP. Now, also there are presuppositions. Some people agree with all of them, some people don't. But we shall see. Let me know. There we are. People respond to their experience, not to reality themselves. There's another description of that coming later, which will come out. Having a choice is better than not having a choice, which is right. It's pretty obvious, but the obvious sometimes needs to be said. People make the best choice they can at the time. So they have choices. They say, okay, yeah, okay. But some people can't make a choice, of course. It's a bit of a shame. But the presupposition NLP, we can have a choice and make the best one. And people do have the ability to work perfectly. That's the assumption, the presumption. And all actions have a purpose. Hopefully of good intent, of course, not bad intent. And also there's plenty more here. And every behavior should have a positive intention. Now, the unconscious mind balances the conscious. We'll come to that a bit later as well. But it keeps everything in balance. The unconscious mind or unconscious mind is not malicious. That's a presumption. Of course, some people it is, but it's rather sad. And this is the meaning of any communication is not simply what you intend, but is the response you get. That is really, really important. So if you always do what you always done, you always get what you always got. So, change it if you need to change the response. Now, also the presumption is we have all the tools at our fingertips, or we can create them. So we're versatile enough to be able to do anything, basically. Or, you see. mind and body, we presume mind and body are a system. Now, it's not only mind and body. To me, it includes the soul, whatever that may be, intuition, whatever that may be, and all the states of consciousness. Because there are so many things we don't fully understand, but are there actually working in the background with us and hopefully for us, not against us. And they're all different expressions of the one person. They're all within all of us. And of course, we process all the information through our senses, which goes without saying, really. And if we do things, if we model something that works well, that leads to our own excellence or to another person's excellence. We train them or teach them to do it that way. And if you want to understand anything, just do it. So as everyone says, the learning is actually in the doing. So please just like it, as the old expression goes. Now, Walt Disney was a very interesting person. Some like him, some don't like him. All the kids loved him. He had his own preferences. But anyway, at the same time, he entertained us all for a very long time, and his companies still do now. But when he went into a situation, he looked at it in 4 ways. And one, like, okay, I'm me. What do I think about that? The second was, okay, wow, let's, what could we do with this? What could we do with it? Could we make it something really special and just, like a dreamlike fairy state, what have you? But also then then he looked at it in a pragmatic sort of way, in a realistic sort of way. The way that, okay, will this work, will that work, does that work, will it not work? And also the critic, well, what's he going to think about that then? Or what, who's going to, well, God, are they going to like that, hate it, or what have you? So this is something to remember, because it comes in very handy when we're assessing ourselves and also the goals we're setting. Now, we hear about Einstein's unified field, but we also hear about Dilts unified field, the NLP. Now, of course, I was trained a long time ago. Things have moved on since then. But these principles are still very much at the basis of progress in many ways. Now, with Einstein's theory, no need to get too much into that, because no one can really understand it anyway, not even Einstein. But basically what it's saying is we're trying to get a theory of everything. Now, a theory of everything is really quite difficult to do, obviously, and no one's going to get there, really, not yet anyway, that's for sure. But when it comes to Dilts NLP and his unified field theory, it's quite clever, because it brings in, let's say, all the the environmental behavior capabilities, beliefs, everything, spirit, everything. And we look at all those situations within the past, the present, and the future. And we look at all those situations. I know it's physically impossible to do. I do know that. It's got to be done in the mind. But you look at all those with Walt Disney's view. With which we went before, if you remember. It was from normal, dreamer, realistic, critic, and that gives us let's say a perception that may be real, may not be real, but it gives us possibilities of change. So just remember that Dilts and Einstein, both unified fields, but both totally different, but in the right direction. Now, this is not something to dwell on at the moment, but there are so many views of looking, at the unified field, and there's so many ways to get there. For the gurus, from the physiology, and from the physics, everything. It's if you're interested in that sort of thing, if you're a scientist, well, it could be fun. Now, what you think is not necessarily what it is, which comes from the term, the map is not the territory. Now, because something is absolutely there, and you can see it there, for example, well, just nowadays, the Queen, it's her 70th year at university, meant to have a lovely family, meant to have lovely, in the old days before the internet, had a lovely family. But in reality, it's not quite like that. There's always trouble. There's always problems going on with any families. So the map is not the territory. So you've really got to understand what goes on in any situation and try and presume, or do not assume anything, that's true. Try and delve into the realities of it to match with your own feelings, with your own viewpoints. So as my mate Einstein says, it cannot be changed without changing your thinking, which is so important. Flexibility is everything. So the map is not the territory. It's something worth remembering. Never assume. I used to make big mistakes when I was younger. I assume this and assume that. Don't make an ass out of you and me is the old expression. We all have heard this expression before, I know. But it's worth remembering. Don't assume anything, like the fish in water. How's the water? What water? Come on. I speak French. Could be Chinese, could be Shui, whatever it may be. Keep things simple. Really important in life. Don't make it too difficult. My friend again, as you say. Well, everyone's friend, really. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. Now think about that. That does make a lot of sense. Neurological levels. Now, learning occurs at very different levels. Now, this goes back to my trainings with Robert Dilts, and it rather stuck with me in those days. And so you've got the environment, our behaviors, our capabilities, our beliefs and values, and of course, our identity, how we identify with ourselves, and the spiritual side of things. So those are generally accepted as the neurological levels. There are other descriptions of this, which we'll just we'll touch on, but not dwell on today, that's for sure. So here we are, neurological levels in a very simplistic way. I can't read them very well, but I also made a note of them here, so I can never remember them. So we go from the physical needs right up to the spiritual needs. I think you can all read them. If I get close to the thing, I can read them. Biological, safety, belongingness, exactly, cognitive, aesthetic, self-actualization, transcendence, and then spiritual. I would say it all depends where you are. Some people just stay at the physical needs, unfortunately, and some people vibrate very quickly to the spiritual needs. Or most of us are somewhere in between those. So it's just worth remembering, basically. Another perception of environment to spirituality, and even from the soul side of things and the ego side of things. Just people may be interested in it later, they maybe not be, but it may be worth referencing, when they're ready. Now, if you're a humanist, here's another way to reflect with the self-awareness, self-discovery, self-actualization, attitudes in life, and attitudes to people. So many descriptions. Nothing is right, nothing is wrong. It's all like a mixture of, not fuzz, that's the wrong word, but a mixture of wholeness, completeness, differentness, I suppose, really. Now, many of you have heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's sort of similar, and it's worth making a note of, because in NLP, it's worth having another viewpoint. That's if people are interested in that. Now, the communication model. As it says here, we all know this, it's quite simple, visual, what we see in our mind, or in reality, our auditory, the sounds we hear, kinesthetic, our touch, sensations, emotions, olfactory smells, and gustatory tastes. Now, many people, I had a very strange experience the day before yesterday. And, I'm not terribly kinesthetic. I am, but I never show it normally. But I gave an interview for Phoenix TV in Hong Kong about the Queen's 70th year, whatever it is, Platinum Jubilee. And something touched me so much that my emotions just overtook my words. And that's something that doesn't happen to me very often. Yeah, so, you know, some things you're just so deep within the conscious and subconscious, unconscious, that you just cannot control. But once you're aware of it, then you can start, you know, let's say, influencing it if you wish, or even just let it be there, because it can make a big difference to the way you are, to the chemistry within your body. So anyway, those are the three communication models. So if you're watching Phoenix TV Monday night, you may see me. Okay, now here are some visual descriptions. They're all visual descriptions of the same thing, but they're just done by different people. People like to let's say explain in their own way, in the way that they can understand themselves, which is good. So I've done, I copied, I plagiarized, if you wish. There's no problem with that because it's in the public domain. Different people's views or different people's descriptions of what is NLP. So here's the first visualization. As you can see, you've got sight, smell, taste. I would say it's pretty self-explanatory, really. So here's another description, exactly the same, but different. You know, just whatever suits you, you do. Now, what I advise people to actually do is to actually do their own diagram, if you wish, of how they see it happening, because it helps them sort out how their own mind, their own way of doing things works. Here's another one. I'm not sure about this tongue here, where I lost it. There it is. I worried what that was, but it's a tongue apparently. Okay, but it's another way of just diagrammatic way of doing things. Another one, you know, exactly the same again. As I say, the PDF is available for people later, so you know, they can peruse it in their own time and make up their own decisions. Now, we absorb through our sensory things. I don't know how they work this out, but 2 million bits of information a second. Now that's phenomenal. How on earth comes at this very moment? Well, gosh, that's about 6 million bits in about 3 seconds, you know. And what have we done? So there's a lot of information going in, and within that, you know, we distort it. We, you know, do certain things. I'll come to a more detailed thing when I come to mine, because I'm more comfortable with my own actually. An easier one, you know, it's information in, results and fun out. I prefer the fun bit. Now here's another person's description of it, but they've included the unconscious and conscious, which is of course a very important part of the way we think and the way we and the way we decide things or interact with people or what have you. Another one, exactly the same again. As I say, it's worth looking at and doing your own when you're finished, you know, when you have the copy. Here's a colorful one. I quite like this to begin with, actually, because it's, you know, more exciting, got more life to it. Now, this is my way. You know, I did this many years ago, actually, but I've just added the mind, the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. So all that data coming in at 2 million bits a second, as we can see, we for our own filters, if you wish, we say, oh, get rid of that, or I like that, make that a bit bigger, or we say, oh, that looks all a bit grey to me. And that's influenced by our language, memory, decisions, our meta programs, that's the way we behave, and our values and beliefs. And all that is sort of a mismatch of, you know, in our in our conscious, subconscious minds. And of course, the internal, you know, the whole internal recall, our own physiology, you know, makes us actually respond in a way that, you know, gives us that, what I call resulting behavior. I put it to the heart because I hope it's always beneficial. Now, an outline of the mind, we spoke about We spoke about the conscious, subconscious, and the unconscious mind. It's worth remembering the conscious mind. Well, someone's done this again. I can't confirm this personally. 10% of what is nothing, is it? And 50 to 60% is our subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind, which really looks after the way we breathe and our heartbeat and things like that, is 30 to 40%. It's quite phenomenal, a real iceberg, really. Now, the human mind model. Now, my eyes aren't too good. I can't read that very well, so I'm going to get some notes here somewhere. There we are. The conscious mind, all right? Now, if we bear in mind that we can only process 5 to 7 bits of information at any one time. Now, I've got conscious proof of this, and you can do it yourselves as well. You probably know it anyway. When I book into my Yahoo email, I have to remember 8 letters. And that is really, really difficult. I can do 5 or 6 and sometimes 7, but 8, no, really difficult. So of course, what I do, I remember the last 4 by saying, if it's, say it's NYUS, okay, the first are ABCD, I can say, okay, New York, useless is the last one. So I can remember the NYPD or whatever it may be. And then New York, NYUS is easy to remember afterwards. But then you go to Google, and when I book into my Google account, there are actually 6 letters. And straight away, remember them, no problem at all, or 6 numerals rather. So the mind is a very, I wish someone would just release a bit of our DNA so we can actually accomplish more, really, in many ways. And but that's the way most of us are kept together in, not, that's the wrong word anyway, not really. Okay. So anyway, so if you can read all this, really it makes a big difference to the understanding of both the conscious, subconscious, and the unconscious mind. And also, I'm very conscious of timings. We've done 3/4 now already. That's okay. Now, some steps to competence and changing the self from the old via the future to the now. Now, I'm very keen on the now, the moment. And as we go through this, you'll understand why. Now, most of you understand this anyway. We go through 4 stages from incompetence to competence. And the first one is, well, as you can see left, I don't have to read it to you, but it's unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, then unconscious competence. So you go from, I don't know something. I know that I don't know something. I know something, but I have to think about it as I do it. Then I know something when I don't have to think about it. It's, we've all done it. We all know it, but it's good to remember it. Now, also, because I'm a great believer, if you live in the moment, you're always going to be happy. We'll come to that later as well, because that helps with NLP. Once we come to that realization, NLP becomes so much easier. And so so the change grid. So whatever the change grid is to you, how you get to changing your feelings. I don't agree with the change grid myself, but some people, they love it. But what you do realize after you go to the change grid, you realize you can't change the past, but you can change the future. But everything you change has to be changed now, at this moment, if you wish. So, credit to the guy who wrote the book, actually. Interesting. Now, this is another description for another time, but to consciously access the power of now. Which is really one of the goals of, for me anyway, NLP. But anyway, that's for another time. That could take ages to go through that. And also, we mentioned the humanistic approach before, if you remember. And also, even humanists have a way of trying to get through the let's say the fear and the pain of the past and the fear of the future, and that's to get to the body presence of the present. So that's that's from the Windsor humanists. Actually, they come from where the Queen lives. Actually, Queen Elizabeth II. But that's just something else for people who are interested, who may be interested. And if you're not interested, forget it. It's just one of those things, really. Okay, now what about eye movements? We all know about these, I think, most of us anyway. We have the visual remembered, we have the visual constructed, we have the auditory remembered, the auditory constructed, the auditory digital, okay? That's when they're sort of, yum, 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 and also the kinesthetic, when they're feeling what they're doing. All of you know this, I know, but it's worth remembering because the second slide just makes it a little more easy. So this is an indication only. So this is where, if you're looking at someone, if they look, these are. I must stress this is 80% correct. 20% of people are swapped around the other way, so it's worth doing a test. So those are those things, but this is the one that I really like, because it makes us realize that some people aren't so nice as we think they are. So here we are. So when we're constructing things visually and auditory, we're either constructing it or we're lying. That's like these body language experts and the police and what have, they're all taught this. And of course, on the side when we're remembering something, it's generally the truth, but that's where it is. But as I said before, 80% like this and 20%. So you've got to test. So test, operate, test, exit. You can ask them some information about them that they definitely know, which they can remember, something that they that they can construct, or just make sure which sort of, whether you're talking whether you're talking to the 80% or whether you're talking to the 20% reversed. But that's got to be up to you and the person. You've got to know the person a little bit to be able to do that sensibly. And also remember to observe the less obvious changes in people. Sometimes there's changes in the skin tones. When you blush, I blush sometimes. I do. I don't know what I'm thinking about, but I do blush. When people breathe, when they're scared, when they're interesting. And also, you're just fidgeting. I'm fidgeting now, funny enough. Changes in posture, arm positions, eye contact, or aversion to the eyes, the smile or lack of one. It's a bit of a giveaway sometimes. And also, if you notice, people's eyes, they are, let's say, a window to the soul. And by people's eyes, you can tell really what they're thinking, their character. For example, even this week, I don't know if anyone's watched the Jubilee, but you had this situation between Prince William, who's the good guy, if you wish, and Prince Harry is the bad guy, who feels he's the bad guy anyway. And they were brought together in the at the remembrance or the celebration service. And of course, poor the good guy got his position with with next to the next king, and Harry got his position because he's withdrawn from the royal family across the other side of the church. And you could literally see his eyes trying to kill his brother. They call it dagger eyes. Really, seriously. Well, you know that. You probably all experienced it anyway. But it does make a big, big difference. Yeah, and also some people are very aware of people's auras. The colors of the aura, the way they are. Some people can pick up the frequency a person's emanating in, if you wish. But notice we'll come to it later. We talk about this intuition, it's so important, but we'll come to that and try and just make it a bit easier for people to understand. Important in NLP, it's important to build rapport. and that's mirroring people, like saying, hi when you smile. Interesting, in China, I noticed, not when I first came here, not many people smiled. So I didn't quite understand why. So I started smiling at them, and they started smiling back, which I think is rather fun, really. So building that rapport, mirroring people, or encourage them to mirror you. There are 6 main elements to building rapport. I'm saying you all know this. I'm sorry to go back to basics, but it's really important to come back to basics. I say, tell it once, tell it twice, tell it 3 times. Once it becomes part of the psyche, everything becomes so much easier. So you match their modality, that's the 5 senses, if you wish, match their physiology, study all the body functions. You don't have to follow them to the private place. You match their voice and body language, match their breathing. You can make people relax by breathing very, very slowly, very purposely, but also match the size of the pieces of information they use and match the common experience. Very, very important. Okay, EQ. Very important as well. I say, everything's important, but this is really so important. But this EQ matches NLP in various ways. Now, this is something for you to look at later if you're interested. But it just helps one appreciate, let's say, the basic essence of a human personality and the ways that NLP can make you aware of it and help you become more fluid with its uses. Now, anchoring. We haven't mentioned anchors yet, but some people, when they remember something, it could be a touch, a smell, it could be an object, a song, or a sound, even a taste. In reality, for example, I remember going on holiday in Scotland with my parents when I was very young. And we stayed in this old hotel, which was very musty. So it had mold all over it. It was absolutely terrible. And for about 10 years after that, I've had an inkling of that smell. I remembered that room instantly and what have you. An object, for example, well, like a wedding ring, remind you you're married or something. I don't know. But there is, anything anchor. But the touching your fingers is a good way to anchor. For example, I'm feeling happy, feeling wonderful. I feel okay. How can I want to do a real thing if I can. Okay, that's it. So remember, okay, I'm bringing in energy now. I can feel it. It's coming through my body, and that's by me just doing a particular thing with my fingers. And of course, energy is available to all of us. It's free. It's free, and if we can go on the lookout for it, it just makes us more healthy, more sensible, more wise, and more helpful to other people. But also anchors, as I say at the bottom here, it can negate bad feelings. So you can collapse anchors as such. And I'm sure that, those in the NLP field can teach that very, very easily. It's something that, if you have a bad feeling, you don't like spiders or something, you can just say, okay, don't like spiders, love something, and you bring them both together, and well, that's it, it's finished. Examples of anchors. Well, we've all been there. Some say, I used to love sunbathing when I was younger. I used to work pretty hard and have 2 weeks holiday a year, and I spent 2 weeks in the sun recharging myself. Jingles. I went to a store in Xi'an the other day, and they started saying jingle bells, jingle all the way. And of course, Christmas. I suddenly think of Christmas. Of course you do. We won't talk about the Monday morning feeling because many people get that, but it's not necessary really. Yeah, so all these things make a big advertising slogans. One I always remember, you'll wonder where the yellow went when you brush your teeth with Pepsodent. That was a toothpaste years and years ago. Crazy. Right, but please again remember, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. So always take things down to a simplistic level if you're able to, but at the same time, not losing the essence of what it means. Now, this is related to reflection. The other day we had a talk by Tillman Riger, I think it was, on transactional analysis, which reminded me, with the ego states of man, with the let's say the critical parent, the nurture. Oh, hang on, let's get up here. All right, I got to here. Critical parent, the nurturing parent, the adult, the the children, all three of them, the free child, the adopted child, and the rebellious child, which I think most parents have a rebellious child. But anyway, the whole thing, it revolves around, behavior, if you wish, and an attitude of different people, interacting with like a critical parent with a free child or rebellious child, all these sort of things. Anyway, once you've once I believe personally, an adept at NLP interacts from here with your own attitude. Your attitude can affect all the interactions of these people, all of them. So so you can take a lot of heat out of situations quite easily once one's aware of their situation. Now, be a dove, in my opinion. Okay, be a dove, a pretty dove, and be a butterfly. Interesting. So explore life, in my opinion. Have fun, and good intent. I think that's important. I think the fun bit's best, but also good intent makes it even more interesting. Create random acts of kindness. It costs nothing. Even just a smile, a slap on someone's, a touch on someone's back if they need it, an encouragement. It costs nothing. And when you help other people's lives, in turn, you help your own. Just make a difference. Okay, I give a thought to those masters who heal, and those who heal without conscious knowledge. There's a whole list, those. I won't delve on them because of timing. And the more we learn, the more there is to know. Here are all the types of healing, all the types of, you name it. Gosh, it's there. If there's anything not there, please let me know. Goodness me, I can't think of anything. Okay, now for the easy bit. Intuitive NLP. Okay, so intuition, we all have it. Some of us, well, even me on occasion, just don't recognize it. You already have it, and you will now have grasped the principles of NLP. We all know it. We may not consciously remember it, but we all know it within ourselves. If you believe it, and you'll be there. And be confident, love yourself, understand your own body, but be congruent, be at ease and happy with everything within yourself, your mind, whatever that may be, your body, well, you know that, and your soul, wherever that vibrates around the world or the universe, whatever it may be. So I give credit to Silver Clare on open your thoughts to the probability that you are more intuitive than you realize, which is so true. We are more intuitive than we realize. And a silly little something that I picked up on the internet, intuition, what is it? When you don't know how you know, but you know, and you knew, and that's all you need to know. Sort of right, but not really happy with that, but it's fun. Now, Einstein, my dear favorite Einstein, his quote was, "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift." That is so true. We've forgotten how we connect with whatever. So just he was ahead of his time there, or behind his time, because it's already discovered before, of course. Okay, if you think, no, this is what I put together. I don't know why, it just came to me. If you think you do not know that you know and have already known. So it doesn't matter, you do know it anyway, even if you think you don't know it, you actually do know it. Okay, and to help on this path, meditation, everyone has a different form of meditation. You know, some people just sit in the corner, some people have a smoke, which is not very healthy, by the way. You know, and just take a moment's silence. That helps sort of pacify the mind. I believe you should cultivate your pineal gland, which is unfortunately clogged up with fluoride and things like that. But most importantly, no matter what, live in the now. The now is so, so important. Really, the now. This very moment. Not just then, not in 10 minutes' time, just now. Really, really very important. So Lao Tzu, he said, if you are depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. If you're at peace, you're living in the present. Very important. Talk regularly to your higher self in whatever form that is to you, or you can imagine. Learn from past feelings with your intuition. You know, sometimes you say, oh, wow, that just came together. How did I feel when that happened? And occasionally revert to nature. You know, go to the forest. I know it's very difficult in the cities sometimes, but even just go to a park and connect with, ground yourself, basically. You know, as above, so below. Ground yourself. And also watch for serendipity, things that just come together. Remember the feeling and try and replicate that. And use your latent gift of divine muscle testing. Now, some people think that's crazy, but I can assure you it works. And it could be the use of your fingers, your arms, or your physical stance. So, is muscle testing kinesiology a link to our intuition? Now, there are many ways to muscle test with our subconscious mind, but it only gives us yes and no answers. It's very important, okay? And you can test that with, you know, very simply. But the important thing to remember is it won't give you the answers to next week's lottery. Sorry about that. But if you do it and it does, I want 10%, please. But I've never known anyone be able to do that. Okay, so we have on the left here, you have the finger lock position, if you wish. On the right here, you have the position of the body. I give credit to these people here. And we can, whoops, sorry about that. Let's go back. No, there we are. And we can practice it ourselves. I don't know if you can see me at all. I can't see anyone here. I've got nothing here. Let's try that. Whoops.
We can see you. We can see you too.
Okay. I can see me too now. Okay. So what I'd like you to do, if you may, okay, if you want to practice this, it's up to you entirely. You don't have to, but a simple muscle test. Okay. You stand up and you place your arm in front of your body like an L shape, if you wish, like this. Okay. And you don't hold it firmly, just hold it in a way that is comfortable, but creates a little bit of a resistance when you press it. All right? Okay. And then just ask yourself, it's a yes or no answer. So you can say, well, okay, I will say to myself, my name is William, all right? So I will say, is my name William? I press it and, you know, it doesn't move, you know, not a strong press. Okay, is my name William? And it stays rigid, okay? Now I'm going to say, I've got Angelina on my thing here now. So is my name Angelina? Is my name Angelina? Is my name William? Is my name William? Is my name Angelina? Is my name Adrian? Is my name William? Is my name Adrian? Is my name Darko? Is my name Angelina? Oh, it stayed up that time. Angelina, I've just changed my name. That's strange. That's the first time that's done that. So is my name William? Is my name Angelina? So it's something that's worth practicing. You know, it may work, may not work. It's just, it should work, all right? But you don't cheat. Don't cheat. In actual fact, when I said, "Is my name Angelina?" I remember in my mind I was thinking William question. That was really interesting. That I haven't heard that before. Okay, so that's an easy way to test. Like, for example, you can ask your body a question: "Is smoking good for me?" or something, you know, or, you know, something like that. Okay, I'm mindful of the time as well. Sorry, who's this one here? Right. Now, another interesting point. Now, our bodies are 80% water. Now, believe it or not, we can imprint water with our thoughts and intent. All right. And this has been proven by Dr. Emoto. I'm trying to get this. Yeah, this has been proved by Dr. Emoto in Japan. Now, as you can see, here's a thank. When you, for example, on a bottle of a glass preferably, a glass of water or something. So what he did, he put thank you on it, and then he froze it, then he sliced it, and these are the crystals that came out. It's rather like snow crystals, aren't they? Really. So all the good one, wisdom, all these nice ones, are really quite pleasant. And then he put you fool, so he's telling, you know, it's awful. And then of course you've got evil, that's terrible. So remember, your body itself is 80% water. And if you have confidence and think of yourself as being very positive, being very grateful, being very loving, being very, your whole body will react to that as well. You know, and I think that's important for NLP as well, because what you're doing, you're being congruent with your physical body to your mental body as well. So just something worth thinking about. And if people are interested, get in there and see what happens. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, live in the moment. Now this is really important, and this is the only way for me to be happy. To me, okay, not everyone will agree with me, but you've got to know that the past, the present, and the future is all one. And when you enjoy every now moment, I mean every now moment, not just then, okay, not just 2 minutes time, but every now moment, the whole future and past is concurrently enjoyed. A really simplistic way of looking at life, but it actually works. And I've mentioned this many times before, always show gratitude, love, and appreciation. And be what you are. In my opinion, you're a spirit on a journey. You know, and you know, you are whatever you want to be in that case. And by strengthening yourself, you in turn can help strengthen others. So it's all part of the community, if you wish. Now, Socrates is a very clever man. He said, "I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think." And that's like, I have exactly the same opinion as Socrates, or feeling as Socrates. You know, you can't teach people anything. You just allow them to think, to make up their own mind, to make up their own path. Very, very important. So this little man here, he says, don't think about the future, just be here now. Don't think about the past, just be here now, which is now. And Lao Tzu, watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. They become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. And watch your character becomes your destiny. So your destinies will be good, fine, and lovable, and wonderful, and progressive. All of you, everyone. Some pointers to take away. Okay, we're still on time. The importance of your communication is the response you get. We mentioned that before, okay? So I'm talking to Adrian, and he calls me a crazy boy. And I say, okay, well, that's the response I wanted. You're right, correct, thank you for that. There's no failure, only feedback. So if you do something wrong, it's not being wrong, it's just making it right for the future with the next decision, if you wish. Stretch your envelope. Now, people use this now apparently, but it was accredited to me in London many years ago with the Grinder Delosier training. I always remember that because it shocked me that I had something which is really new and interesting. Well, it wasn't new, probably invented before, but certainly in the NLP community, it was very new. And as you sow, you shall reap. Really, well, we all know karma. And our challenges, our demons, we need to face them so they can be overcome. We've spoken about intuition. Get to know, really practice getting to know your intuition, and trust it, because your intuition is looking after you. It's like in many people's eyes, they call it a guardian angel. They can call it whatever, some higher, whatever it may be, higher energy, higher being, higher. It all depends how you think about it. But just trust your intuition and have so much fun. I mean, have so much fun that your fun energy is an example for others to follow. It's the apprentice effect. The more you can let's say encourage other people, the more they will be encouraged. Yeah, and also I was talking to Jay once, I think, about this, and always leave people slightly better off when you interact with them. For example, I spoke about just recently, just now, and it was when he said, "Oh, to do that?" He asked me that question, and I said, "Well, sort of, I suppose, really." And I couldn't think about it, and of course, it was speaking to people like the guards on the compound I live in Xi'an. Well, no one smiles, no one, but I started smiling to them, talking to them, or just saying, "Hi, my Chinese sucks," but it just makes it different. They actually smile. It changes their chemistry as well as your own. And know that your progress and intent will help you, the individual, and fellow seekers and Mother Earth on their natural progression and whatever we may be progressing to. So practice and have faith in your intuition. Now we'll come to another aspect of NLP and some of the things that we can utilize with it. And Tesla, Reif, and Einstein were ahead of the game. And what Einstein summed it up said, everything is energy. And that's all there is to it. Match the frequency with the reality that you want, and you cannot help but get the reality. There can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. So it's something that's there. It's like, how does our Wi-Fi work? I've got no idea, but it works, all these sort of things. So what is next? But it's really here now. And it's food for NLP minds, and it's frequency and quantum entanglement. And so here's just a visualization of that. It's like when two people are in love, if you wish. There's something that goes on that no one really can understand. But for a time, it's great. Sometimes it parts, but most of the time it's there. And for people who have a lifelong love with a partner, have that proton, if you're photon entanglement forever. Yeah, so just a thought for those who want another thought to think about. So there's no right or wrong within the concept of positive and good intent. So do as you wish, do as you want, but make it useful. And thank you all very much. Thank you.
Hi there, Adrian here, and this is a video from a Zoom session that we do. We do these Zoom sessions every Sunday, and we take questions and answers from the audience, some of our students, some of our members. We never know what questions are coming up, so I'm always excited to do these sessions, and I hope to see you at one of them. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below and check out the other playlists that we have. Thank you. Enjoy.